Welcome to
House of Whimsical Terror.
I'm Esther.
I'm Mary.
And we're coming to you from Tucson, Arizona.
And we're telling real stories of the fantastic.
All of our stories are true or told to us as true.
Occasionally we alter the names to protect privacy.
And places for the same reason.
Today's story is It Lurks in the Corner.
Yes. And we were going to save this story for our Irish stories, which are going to be pretty plentiful.
Entire series that we'll be doing. Mm-hmm.
But this is from a long time ago. A friend of ours told us this story, and I just feel like it needs to get out there. And then we will, have different stories when we're talking about Ireland.
That's right, the magical and beautiful.
Yes, and spooky.
Truly.
So this story takes place when our friend is young. She's a little girl. Her parents are Irish immigrants, so they have lots of family back in Ireland, obviously very close to them, and they go visit often. And in this particular story, our friend goes to Ireland with her mother and her sister and her aunt. Mm-hmm. And her aunt is very excited about meeting up with a friend from school who is a curator at a museum that used to be a convent, like a really old convent, like 1100s or something. One of those ancient, awesome places that you find in Ireland.
Yeah.
So they go and they are meeting her aunt's friend, and it's really fun, and she's really engaging and interesting. And she says, I have a great room for you. And of course, they're traveling from the U.S., so they're really tired.
Sure.
And she sets them up in this one room. The room has two beds. So in one bed is our friend and her sister and their mother. In the other bed is the aunt, and she's all by herself. And so they all go to sleep almost immediately, but partway through the night, her aunt wakes up and she has to go to the bathroom.
Right.
And so she gets up, puts her feet over the side of the bed, and suddenly this shadow from the corner of the room scurries over to her feet.
Oh.
And it freaked her out so badly that she lifted her feet up and laid down, and her heart's pounding, and she's terrified.
Yeah.
And then she thought, oh, wait a minute. It's probably like my own, I'm creating the shadow somehow. You know how you do. You figure out, where is that coming from? And you move your hand over in different ways. So she did that. Nothing was happening. And then she thought, I'll just get up again, see what shadow I'm creating. So she did. And sure enough, the thing scurried out of the corner to her feet.
Oh.
And she waved her hand around and kind of moved her body in different ways. The shadow didn't move. It stayed exactly as it was. So she got really freaked out, got super scared, laid back down, and was breathing really heavily and looking over the corner of the bed. And the shadow was still there, even though she was laying flat in the bed. And then after a moment, the shadow got up and moved back to the corner.
Oh, yikes.
Right?
Esther, shadow people.
Yeah. So she's like, I really have to go. Let's see if, I can quickly, avoid the shadow, whatever the shadow entity is. She puts her feet back over and takes a couple steps, and the shadow comes over where she's standing and just stands there, and she feels trapped. So again, she lies back down and she's like, okay, I really have to go, but worse than having to go, I really don't want to be in the bed alone because I'm scared. So she takes the sleep where she uses one foot on the floor and the next foot over into the bed with her sister and her two nieces and just lies there, does not sleep. But the shadow comes out of the corner, goes to the bed she was just in, stays there for a moment, then pivots, goes over to the bed that she's in, waits a moment, and then goes back to the chair in the corner.
Whoa.
So she, lay awake all night, and then finally everybody woke up, and as soon as they woke up, she jumped up and ran to the toilet to go to the bathroom. And she told them the next morning at breakfast, including her friend. Her friend met them, and they all had this lovely breakfast. And she said, I'm afraid to stay in that room. And her friend said, it's really interesting because the room I put you in is part of the nuns' infirmary where sick people were cared for. And a nun would sit all night in the corner of the room in that chair. And of course, if anyone stirred or you needed something, the nun would go to the foot of the bed, would care for them, and then go back and sit down for the rest of the night. So that's what it was.
That is creepy and fabulous.
Right.
And warm and scary and all of it.
I know. Even though it's a nice nun who's trying to help you, it's still terrifying.
It's still kind of, yes, terrifying. Yeah. Shadow people are just terrifying, period. But they're not always ill-meaning, right?
True. And it's kind of sad. You think about that nun, is she there, for eternity? Does she just show up when people are in that room, or is she just there?
That's such a great question.
Yeah.
And
I feel sad for her. Or happy for her, because maybe she feels fulfilled. It's her life calling, and she's doing it from on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. Well, that's a precursor to our Ireland stories.
Yes.
Then
which will be coming up.
They're all going to be creepy fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes. So thank you for listening to that story.
Absolutely.
And a shout out to our friends who we kept anonymous, but
that's right.
They're great people and great storytellers.
Yes.
One of the things we do want to do is do a shout out to our nieces, Athena Blue of Blue and the Boys, who created composed the music and also performed it for intro, outro. I know we've thanked them before, but I just feel like
we just want to thank them again.
And Bella Blue, who helps us out with
that's right,
with all of our social media stuff.
I absolutely think it's important to thank the people that help to support us. So in addition to our fabulous nieces, we thank all of you that are listening.
Yeah, thank you for joining us at the house. We really look forward to your comments and your presence, and we definitely love that we feel like you're here with us in the room, sitting with us on the couch. I know there's lots of you, so you won't all fit on the couch, but we still picture you here with us.
That's right. So thank you so much for listening, and for now, so long, good friends. Until next time, when we meet back at the house.